Hi, welcome to the most interesting man in the world, Spook. Oh, but of course. And here we have our mind-unnumbing drink called Explode. Explode. I'm only taking half a serving. Okay. Okay, interesting. I just started this video. I'm going to be drawing again and talking. The topic today, or in this segment, hopefully is going to be about medicine, medical technologies, Alex Jones, the powers that control the the powers that control the medicine and the technology and information, as well as the government, and my political outlook and my personal restraints. Well, thanks. Thanks. Looks like I lost somebody here. Anyway, so with that being said, maybe I should move the computer around so I can get into sketch mode here. And or hell, maybe I'll bag the painting part and just talk. I guess I'll do that if I get stumped. Let's see, what am I working on so far? I've got a kind of a clown profile here. Boy, that looks a lot different on the screen than it. Oh, there it is. Now I can make it out. Anyway, so got that going. Let me see. Maybe I'll bring the whole system over here a little bit. Pardon me as I move around. Kitty, move. Kitty. Meow. There you go. Yo, kid, get out the way. Get out the way, kid. Get out the way. Alrighty. Okay, well. So, it comes up in Chinese chat that I don't talk much about certain things, certain issues, and so certain political issues. So I guess I want to disclose how I feel a little bit about some things. And okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the information, my opinion about Alex Jones and so forth, and that I think the information that Alex Jones is providing is in fact backed up, that he sources real, true documentation when he's citing documentation, but I think he does do a little bit of a paranoid spin on everything. I used to not question the spin factor of it until I realized that he himself is a bit of a showman, and to realize that he himself is not willing to actually participate in kind of a Napoleonic behavior against the powers that be, although he's got such a following that if he wanted to pull the trigger on such a thing, he could probably get quite a movement going. and a bit. I wish spaced out you'd give me a little more context to what you're saying. I know you're playing right off of what I'm saying, but it'd help me if you typed out my context to me. Yeah, a bit of a showman. Well, like I said, I believe his information is, um, I believe what he's accessing is files that he gets from the government, or the laws that he's presenting, or what people say, what senators are doing. Um, I believe that these are accurate documents politically, but I think that I think he responds to them in a bit of like he has an authentic reason as his underlying motivation to speak in the way he speaks, but I can't say that, but I'm saying he also showboats in a dramatic way. A portion of his being is showboating, in that if people respond violently in any respect, even in his name, he will be in full denial that he was any part of the impetus for these behaviors. But at the same time, what it is he is revealing is severe. It is, if you take his paradigm, to some extent, he's wanting people to wake up and have a reaction and actually attempt to change yeah, yeah. Mm, mm-hmm. Yeah, in a way, I thought his job is to flush out radicals, real radicals that would behave harshly against the powers that be. Um, I don't know if the aims of Congress people and the laws that are passed, I wonder whether or not they are humane in their overall intent, or whether or not they are uh, bias to so many types of individuals that that they would be unhumane. Kind of like the notion of the government creating FEMA camps. It's almost like if the government wants to make certain that the populace is in control, they might build FEMA camps and spend a lot of money building FEMA camps as something to have reports upon in order to scare the populace, but not in any real manner using them. They might strictly be a means of scaring the populace. It wouldn't be beyond a government to do that, but the government might be weaker than we think. The government might be just, you know, it's weird to say. For me to answer, for me to weigh in on this topic is a tough one, because I can't say I believe in reptilians, but I grant I grant alien powers outwardly, but I don't necessarily say I grant them to the government. Like, what I was going to say was kind of like with um, the Wizard of Oz, that they're just, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's just a man behind the process there. But some people tie in uh, Jewish Israeli connections to our Federal Reserve, our Secretary of Treasury, and that our interests are extremely backing of Israel. LDS philosophy backs Israel. They chant, they sing about Israel to open up a lot of their church ceremonies. So they make certain that they're backing that process. which in a way falls down certain, historic Jewish lines as opposed to Christian, more Orthodox Greek Christian vantage points of politics and salvation and so forth, and mercy for our enemies. And so I wonder to what extent, you know, the men that control the money and control the politics behind the president are strictly, manipulating the public in mass, or whether or not they have mercy and empathy towards the masses. That's really what it's about, is the government's relationship to the masses. And as far as I'm concerned, and I was just mentioning to the people that were in Tiny Chat that, for example, the FDA, Dr. Berninsky is I believe he's a Polish physician in Texas. You can get a documentary from him from Netflix, and he's developed a cure for many types or forms of cancer. He has a cancer treatment that's incredibly successful for multiple cancers. And the documentary goes and it shows how the FDA is truly trying to supplant his patent with their own patent. So essentially to steal his work and not allow the implementation of the process to function in the same way that his knowledge of how to be successful has already been proven. So the FDA uses it. It allows other physicians to use it, but not in the manner in which he chose as effective, in his experimentation. And therefore, cancer patients are not surviving at the same rate that they were at the Berninsky's clinic. And the FDA is now trying to control how doctors use and implement this new science, which is kind of like the movie Elysium, in a way. If there's a cure for diseases and the government is doing whatever it can to make certain that, it maintains its medical capitalistic interests, at the expense of people dying, that's a huge thing. But if this is a whole government eugenics program, like Alex Jones says, I can't say. I mean, maybe he's got paperwork on a huge eugenics program that the government's in fact instituting. All I know is I look personally at the reality of the situation. Let me read a couple comments here. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, this one's recording on YouTube, spaced out. Anyway, what I was going to say was that when I think of the powers that be and all of the negativity that comes along with political rhetoric and political thinking, I wonder how much of politics, even law structure, control is a fear factor, but not necessarily a inhumane fact. And what I mean by that is you can get all riled up politically speaking by listening to these laws and imagining the extent in which the use of these laws or these papers, these intents might manifest in some scary way. But the next thing I would suggest to do if you get riled up politically is to immediately walk outside, look at your neighbors. Are they panicking in the street? Are they begging for food? Are they crying? Are they yelling? Are they putting guns to each other's heads? Are they fighting? Are they killing each other? Are they doing that? Is your family doing that? Are you doing that? And I think you'll find that in the majority of the civilized world, even in impoverished areas, people are not running in the streets, yelling, pulling out their hair, killing and harming other people, and that the majority of people still go to work, come home, eat food, feed their kids, watch, they're entertained, they're well coded in some sort of way of being, and that this fact is more or less a real reality. When you go to the doctor, they still do treat you, whether or not they're stealing Berninsky's patents or not. At least there's treatment. People are being cured of their cancer, and other people are dying of their cancer. So, accepting death is still a routine thing. Whether or not there's real technology out there, life extension technology, that's hidden or not, the current muggle world is that you live and you die, not you live and your body is extended indefinitely into some vampiric mode. Like I don't believe I'm part of some, cabal of vampires that get to live indefinitely. And, perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps the heads get access to some amazing life extension technology and cures for all sorts of disease. And I do believe that technology is far beyond what we currently understand it to be, and that information is controlled. So in a lot of ways, I move back and forth. Like someone mentioned, it's a pickle. Having political views based on the information that's given that can be demonstrated is difficult to hold an opinion on. But my point being is, when you recognize your family and the comforts that they have and how put together they are and the fact that they're living, and you compare that to a political struggle that is based on kind of a Star Wars ideology against the governments, you see why Alex Jones doesn't take up arms himself. Either he's afraid that he and his family will die, which I don't really think he is, or he knows that all you do, you can say whatever you want to say as a showman, but the actual reality of his oh, maybe he's pushed by a cop that he's yelling a fucking bullhorn in their face, but he's probably just fine. Anyway, what was I going to say? So the whole point is to look at your immediate reality and sense it, and then think about what kind of person you would have to become in order to rock the boat systemically so much, creating grave terror, kind of like in Fight Club, and how you would have to become a type of terrorist. Oh, here's my brother. Okay, you're being recorded on YouTube. What do you got? Okay, I got coffee going. We'll just record you into everything, and if you're open to it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we'll see you. Okay, bye. Man, my brother's a riot. You guys will hopefully love him. Anyway, so my point is you would have to become personally a type of terrorist. You might feel like you're a Jedi warrior for a positive means, and perhaps you really are. Perhaps people that really want to take on some Napoleonic take on the government are really, in fact, doing an ultimate good. But it's kind of like joining the military to expiate the fear-mongering, the warish nature of mostly men, to put out aggression outwardly into the world, to go kill another person, to control other people. It's almost like the military is there to help individuals get through this need to war, and that the government pays to rehabilitate, to organize your warish being into something that is utilitarian. And that's why so many people in the military get trained into utilitarian positions, such that they have, enough means to take on a job and raise a family during or after their service. But the mere idea of military, of joining the military, is peculiar. Um, I mean, as an institution of getting rid of war, but so many people come out of the military and they feel despot, they feel broken, they feel like they need to war against what it is the ideals are of the institution that they joined in the first place. And I even think a lot of them go into the military thinking that they're going to come out and be despot of the military before they ever enter it. They just go in to kiss ass for a while, so it gives them some sort of right to bitch when they get out. But regardless of whatever their intent is, or however people respond to military activity, when they're out of the military and they listen to information that goes against the constitutionality. I should mention my view on constitutionality is that the body corpus. I think I mentioned this in the last video, but it might have been the one that was deleted. But that the body corpus that has the Constitution as the spine, the body corpus, which is our politic, that has the Constitution as its spine, has been long manipulated and grafted and distorted well before any of us were born. And the people that adhere to constitutionality are actually, they are adhering to a document that's been, the normative behavior of the government and the people already does not align with the percepts of that document. And so the desire to get back to the document is a type of idealism, and that could lead me into talking about anarcho-capitalism and Stefan Molyneux again. But I do think that I've probably discussed these things already in the other video, and if I haven't, I'll rewatch my video and find out if I already discussed them. But anyway, so to be upset at the government, the FDA buying Berninsky's cancer patents and redistributing them in means that are not really helpful to the masses is something I find utterly disgusting. Alex Jones showboating and getting people riled up about government, about what the government's doing in a negative fashion, I think is misleading on his part. Maybe not. Maybe he's a great patriot, but something tells me that there's a little more show to the man than there is. He's not really putting his nuts on the line. He appears as if he's putting his nuts on the line. But I believe that ultimately one has to look back at themselves as a solipsistic individual relative to the universe and find their relationship to violence and terror and see if they actually want to grant their soul over to such warrior-like behavior, whether it's virtuous or not. Does one kind of a Buddhist, well-balanced, sincere soul that knows the universe echoes their behavior, do they really want to participate in something that is not actualized in their day-to-day life? as of yet. And the people will naturally uprise when they sense a day-to-day breach in their behavior and how it is they live. Otherwise, they're just your ideologues. You're fighting a war of idealism in your head, and if you behave in it, you're fighting a war of idealism that may or may not have real, universal value to it. And who am I to say who wants to take that up and actually participate in that? I know there are people that would participate in such a thing, and that's the irony of living longer, is that when in generations back, when people lived shorter lives, the men could have rallied behind youthful leaders at being youthful men, behaving in youthful, with warrior mentality and hormones, and that while people are living much longer and becoming more conservative and more balanced and more peaceful as they age and wanting more peace and they hold on to life more dearly, that ideal penetrates into the youthful population. It also penetrates into the government, and so that idealism allows a maintenance and less of a notion of gathering groups of young men to go to war for an ideal cause. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't even know if I mentioned before I started recording that I'm a little bit sloppy with my memory today. It feels really sloppy because I had a dramatic night last night, and I had kind of poor sleep and a kind of a scary wake up period, and I've been dousing my innards with coffee and so forth. So you'll have to forgive me if I'm kind of a little bit all over the map. But I mean, who can justify themselves, really? I mean, this is who I am, making an expression. And anyway, let's see what they're typing here. Well, Black Flame, why don't you go on a little bit more about what you're getting at here? Um, if you know anything about the Temple of Karnak, the notion of 666 from my Egyptian studies, that the history of 666 comes from the Temple of Karnak, which is relative to the Golden Mean, where one distance unfolds through the Golden Mean, through a rectangle, the spiral begins going outward at levels that duplicate by 1.5 of the previous segment, and when it makes a full rotation, that's considered 6 blocks of the geometry, and then when it does it again, it's another 6, and then when it does it again, it's another 6, and it's to imply infinite 666666666s, which is essentially 2/3 being thrown outward. Correct my math if I'm wrong on this, but essentially a notion of 2/3 being extended upon itself, being multiplied to itself. And at the Temple of Karnak, they actually have sticks that move as if you've extended the golden ratio out. Not sticks, but obelisk statues that represent 666. And and yet I am going to put that in my drawing now, because it is a historic haunt of our modern culture. 666 is considered the sign of the beast, and therefore a sign what it is to be more animal than man. And the Egyptians believed in animal gods, beastly gods. And I don't deny these gods. I don't, that's the weirdo thing is whatever will be is an ultimate kind of credo of mine. Hello!
Hello, boys and girls.
Hello!
How is it out there in television land?
It's, we got exactly one person live, and I'm recording a video as we speak. I've been talking about politics and medicine and government cover-ups and all sorts of stuff. Well, government takeover of technology and medicine and that type of thing.
Shit.
What? You don't like it, man? You don't like my bullshit jive? Oh, you're doing the explode too. I thought you were gonna have coffee, man. I got coffee in the coffee pot. Hello to you, my darling. I don't care, man. I don't care if you have some. I say go for it. I mean, shit, you Indian giver.
What are you talking about? I'm doing it just like Obama.
What did Obama Indian give?
First, I gotta wash my own glass.
Yeah, well, I've been neglecting my cleanup duties. Man. So the cat totally settles down when I bring her inside.
You don't got no coffee made anyway.
What are you talking about? Is it empty?
There's just a little drizzle in there.
Well, I just barely turned it off then, man. I don't know, drink it anyway, or come fill up my cup. And us and the synthetic drugs. I don't know. I wonder what else is in that thing besides caffeine, just powdered caffeine.
What does it have in it?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's got caffeine, but I don't know what else it's got.
200 milligrams of caffeine and fucking, I don't know, some other shit. You don't got none of that fucking cheese left, dude?
I got a block. No, there should be a little bit left in that canister. Is it in there still?
Let me see here, dude. It says...
Should be on the top shelf.
I can't read that. It's too tiny.
Well, I got glasses on over there.
Phosphorus, I think. Magnesium, maybe. Something like that. What does it say? Anything cool?
I'm still looking for where it says ingredients. Ingredients: natural and artificial flavors, citric acid, potassium citrate, sucrose, calcium silicate, acetylflame, potassium, FDA red, FDA blue. I think those are just those are the other ingredients.
We'll take a B8 for later, is that okay?
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, this thing's got a huge list.
Well, it also opens up too.
Tyosine, taurine.
Peel. If you peel it. Either that one or the other one.
It says pill.
It should have like 200.
What, can we win a prize? Can we win any money off of this thing? Oh, yeah, well, I'm tearing the hell out of it.
No, you're just tearing the bottom part of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Taurine, glucuronidine, methylamine, caffeine, tyrosine alpha, tetraglucate acid, MPC, medium chain.
Hey, no matter what it is, it wakes my ass right the fuck up, dude.
There's something called lesser periwinkle, vinpectine,
paralegal?
periwinkle, 95% vinpocine, 98% vincamine, vinurmine.
Buddy, you should have been there, man. My hose blew on me today, man. 20 gallons of propane, man, flying everywhere.
Wow. Well, everyone left the chat room now. I should probably close down the video too.
What, because I showed up?
Well, I don't know. They got everyone's going on. Let's see. Yeah, this is 36 minutes of people loving my mohawk from the backside. Anyway, please, make a comment below about what you think about what I was saying about everything I was saying.
About how Obama knows what the country's like to be black. I'll show them white folks. I'll show them what I did to grow up to be black, man. Poverty-free checks.
Poverty for everybody. Welfare for everybody.
You did turn it off, right?
No, I didn't turn it off yet.
Whoops.
And just when I was telling them they're gonna love you, then you show up with your racist bullshit.
No, it ain't.
No, I know what you're saying.
No.
Yeah, I know.
I'll show those rich white folks a thing or two. Plus that Bush, boy, we gotta show him a thing or two.
You're using
I'm gonna
Bush
be
as Obama. Bush voice as Obama.
Yeah. I mean, all that guy's fucking qualified for is a goddamn Crest or Colgate commercial. Isn't that fucking shit? He's a puppet.
To whom?
Yeah, whoever's really pulling the strings.
And who is that?
Jesse Ventura.
Right. Okay.
No, I don't know, man.
Well, no, I was just implying that, Israeli bankers are pulling
I just can't believe it.
strings.
It's like having the worst person on your friggin' baseball team starting and pitching when it's the most crucial point in history or something. I mean, that's what this president reminds me of. It's like, Jesus Christ, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. This guy don't know shit from no fucking shingle.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, at least he smoked dope before. He was like, yeah, I'll smoke some dope and rape some white women, yeah.
Okay, now I'll turn it off. All right. Thanks, Joe.